So how do you promote a Kickstarter campaign on Facebook? That is what I am covering in today's YouTube video. My name is Salvador Brigman. This is the Crowdfunding Demystified YouTube channel, and the answer to that question is coming up right after this. Okay, Facebook, the big elephant in the room. This is something that is so integral and so important when it comes to a Kickstarter or an Indiegogo campaign. It's also hella important when it comes to e-commerce itself, right? It can be kind of a mystery. I don't know about you, but I really don't like social media. I don't like using it very much in my personal life. I only use it because I have to keep in touch with people, but I find it can kind of take over your life. But unfortunately, as a business owner, particularly if you're leading up to the launch of a Kickstarter campaign, you can't take that. You have to actually, roll with the punches and use it for the tool that it is. Just because you don't like it in your personal life, you got to use it with marketing. So what are some of the steps and what are some of the ways you can go about this a little bit more easily? I'm going to demystify that for you right now. Okay, so Facebook is in bread and butter a broadcast medium. You should obviously have a Facebook page. You should make sure you have a personal account, and you're going to kind of think of Facebook as a TV station. This is one medium where you can regularly put out content via a Facebook page, and people can discover it online, the people who have liked your page. So a really easy thing would be, for example, to set up a Facebook page for your business, to invite your friends and family to like that business page. And then you start posting content semi-regularly, we'll just say 3 times a week on that page. And that content could be stuff that's inspirational, that could be related to your niche, that could be news updates and things that you're coming out with when it comes to your product. It could be things in your industry that are newsworthy, or anything really that you think is going to appeal to the demographic of people who subscribe to your page. What this is going to do is it almost gives you a license to influence other people. Now, what do I mean by that? I mean, we are influenced by the images, the videos, the stories, and the messages that we see every single day. And when we don't have the ability to see a message or to watch a video from a certain source, we're not going to be influenced by that source. This is why you go to really remote areas, and oftentimes the culture is very different than the mainstream culture, right? Or you go to different areas around the world and cultures are different. It's because they've been exposed to different messages, to different stories, to different ways of thinking, to different religious philosophies, etc. We are exposed to our surrounding environment. And when someone likes your page on Facebook, it basically gives you access to influence that individual. When it comes to the art of influence, the most important thing is repetition. Repetition, repetition, repetition. It's not enough for you to just share one video or share one post. It's almost like the accumulative effect of people seeing your brand, of people seeing your messages over and over and over and over and over again. That's what creates a feeling of familiarity. When people see a brand and they're used to on Facebook, they're not gonna see it as an advertisement. They see it as the company that they're following, whose content that they've liked before. Rarely do people even remember the content that you've shared before. What they actually remember is how they felt about the content that you've shared. So I'm willing to bet if I mention a random store out there, you might have a certain image that comes into your mind. If we talk about Staples, right? You have a certain image, maybe it's the actual logo, maybe it's the last time you were in one of the stores, or you were talking with your friend and you were joking around in the store, or how you used it in some way in your life. You have a memory or an experience that you had that's related to that brand. Well, since you're a new company, you don't have that direct ability yet in order to form a relationship with the customer. So instead, what you have to do is you have to always be sharing content. And what that does is it creates an experience and a relationship with your brand as a de facto of the content that you are sharing. Let me unpack that a little bit. When people are watching, let's just say videos that you post on Facebook, and they find them to be inspirational, they look at that and they're like, wow, like this is exactly how I am, or this is in line with my values, or I love the content I love the photos, this is so amazing what this page is posting, or this is really interesting, right? The more that people have that experience when they interact with your content, they don't necessarily remember exactly what you shared last week, but they do remember feeling good about it, or they do remember feeling inspired about it. And they have that kind of subconscious almost feeling every time they interact with your brand going forward. So if you're going to launch a product and they've had really good micro brand experiences with your company thus far, they're going to be a heck more likely to look at and check out the product that you're talking, because they've already had a good experience and a good interaction with your company. So Facebook, the whole goal is to kind of create that. And that's what actually forms a relationship over time, is that the more people see your content, the more they interact with it, the more they actually feel as though they're getting a good experience from that, and they're more likely to trust you. They're more likely to do something that you ask of them, like check out a Kickstarter campaign, like check out a new product that you're mentioning, to join a group of some kind. They're far more likely to do that. This YouTube video is sponsored by The Gadget Flow. The Gadget Flow reaches over 28 million people, and they've been around since 2012. They're Indiegogo and Kickstarter experts. They featured over 5,000 crowdfunding campaigns. If you have a tech or design campaign, it is a great platform to generate awareness and get backers. Check them out at thegadgetflow.com/submit and list your project today. The other part of Facebook is that this has now basically become a website. When you have a Facebook page, it is essentially a website. You can do stuff like you have a button on your page. You can invite people to different calendar events that you're having, maybe a launch party or a live stream. You can broadcast on the page using a live stream. You can invite people to direct message the page, and you can actually even do business transactions on Facebook. Or if you're a nonprofit organization, you can actually raise money on your Facebook fundraising page. So it's literally the same thing as a website, and you should treat it that way. And by that I mean, if you're to set up a website, what is the first thing you need? Well, you need content, obviously, but the other thing you need is you need to look really good. It needs to be well designed. It needs to pop, to capture attention, to look high quality, right? So the Facebook page would be awesome to just invest a little bit into having some really good cover photo, to have a really nice looking logo, and just to brand the page so when people come to it, they feel like this thing is legit. Or that information is right there in the cover photo of where the launch date is, or what it is that you're doing, or whatever it is that you're trying to communicate to the public. That is a stellar opportunity for you to do that using your Facebook page. The more that you can invite people to have interactions with your page through direct messaging, through commenting on your post, the more likely you are to encourage engagement in the future. People want to know that if they send a message to your page, that there's someone on the other side of it, right? And specifically, if you're going to ask them to do something, you want to make sure that you have that positive relationship before you actually ask them to do something. Otherwise, they're going to be like, this brand is just out for money. They're just trying to make money with their product, and they won't be very interested. Another great thing you can do when it comes to Facebook is promoting your page, or promoting your products, or promoting what it is you're doing in different Facebook groups that are out there. Now, probably the most common question that I get on different coaching calls is, hey Sal, I heard that you said you're supposed to promote in different groups. How do I do that without getting banned, right? How do I do that without upsetting the group moderators? Well, there are a few different schools of thought, right, to this. I would say my school of thought is that I think you have to do everything in your power to broadcast your message without obviously violating any kind of terms that other groups have. So if there's a rule that there is no spam or these kinds of things, you can always be mindful of that. Or you can actually message the group moderator or message the person who's the owner of the group and just ask them, hey man, do you mind if I ask a question? Do you mind if I post this? Do you mind if I post that? And it's like, no, it's like, no worry. It's like, what do you think would be appropriate then for me to post? Could I post this? Could I post that? And you can actually have a dialogue with the group owner. Some groups won't even care. They won't even mind if you do those kinds of posts, even if it is in the rules. Other groups are a little bit more stringent, and they'll want you to have a certain way of posting it, or posting it on a certain day, or those kinds of things. What I found to be a really good strategy is to post some kind of an update in a Facebook group that doesn't include any kind of links or any kind of that. Instead, you're asking a question. It could be an image, it could be a photo or something like that, but you're asking a question that encourages people to reply. And of those people that then reply to that post, you then actually direct message those individuals. And that's the way that you generate leads. When people reply to a bunch of using a bunch of comments on this Facebook post, that invites you to further the conversation. And they might not be interested necessarily in furthering the conversation, and that's fine, but some of them might. And that's really how you can begin to promote your campaign and develop leads in a much more kind of smooth way, rather than just being like, hey, check out my Kickstarter campaign. Hey, check out this new product I launched, right? That's a really easy way for you to begin to get banned. But this is kind of more like a covert, secret way of going about that and promoting your message. When I talk about in the Kickstarter launch formula, doing what's called a pre-launch for a crowdfunding campaign or a Kickstarter campaign, and this book is invaluable. You want the Kickstarter launch formula, available on Audible, Amazon, etc. if you are interested in doing this pre-launch, one of the kind of like bread and butter things you should do is you should direct message your friend and family on Facebook, and also the people that are, you know, connected to you in any kind of meaningful way, you know, third degree connections if you want to, etc. Direct message is kind of the best way, I'd say, to get people to take action on Facebook, because if you post a photo, you post something on your timeline, only a very small portion of people actually see that post, and most people aren't even checking Facebook religiously as they used to do in the past, right? They're usually doing that on Instagram. I actually have another video out there on Instagram promotion. So you'll want to be using direct message, but you also want to be taking advantage of some of the other functionality and features that Facebook offers you. Things like posting and embedding a video within Facebook rather than just like linking out to a YouTube video or something like that. Another would be doing live streams. Facebook is pushing live streams a lot recently, and also doing a story update. You can do a story update nowadays on Facebook as well to get more friends and family interested in what it is that you're doing. Other things you do be scheduling an event. You know, we talked a little bit about that before. You can be starting a Facebook group. There are so many ways in which you can leverage Facebook in order to grow your following, in order to get your message out there so that everyone knows what it is you're doing. And it's one of these things I think that, you know, it's a little bit intimidating, to be kind of hard to put yourself out there, to be so blatant with what it is that you're trying to do. And when I was first starting with my own online business, I was definitely way more of a timid type, where I was like, I didn't want to bother people. I didn't want people to think I was spammy and promoting. But at the end of the day, if you believe in your product, you almost owe it to yourself to do this. You owe it to yourself to put all of the chips on the line, to really, you know, push that into the center of the pile and be like, I'm all in. You know, I'm going to do whatever it takes in order to get this product off the ground, even if it means maybe pissing off a friend or two. Who cares? Who freaking cares, man? It does not matter. At the end of the day, we're all in this life for a very transient amount of time. You owe it to do these things that you've always wanted to do, whether it's bring a new product into the world, to affect the world for better, for change, or it could be even just to, to completely transform the career that you have. And maybe you go from being a software engineer to creating a tabletop game business. Like, you owe it to yourself to give it this chance. And I'm really a firm believer of doing whatever it takes in order to accomplish an objective. So I hope you enjoyed some of these ideas for promoting your Kickstarter campaign using Facebook. There are a lot more of them. So first of all, go and check out the Kickstarter Launch Formula, the book that I have available on Audible, also available on Amazon. Number two, if you're interested, you can book a one-on-one coaching call with me. We can do an hour-long intensive call going in depth into your project when it comes to the strategy, when it comes to things you gotta know. You can also hire me if you want to a longer-term coach or help you with marketing. There's a lot of ways that I can help you in the future. And finally, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up so that other people know it's worth their time. Leave a comment down below. Come subscribe to this channel. If you want more content like this, check out some of those links in the description, as well as for the sponsors of this video. Thank you so much. Again, my name is Salvador Brigman, and I will see you next time.